LSU dominates DBU. The Tigers are one win away from advancing. It's Locked on LSU. Here we go.
You are Locked on LSU, your daily podcast on the LSU Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Okay, let's get it. It is Locked on LSU, your team every day. I'm your host, Matt Moscona. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. We're free, available wherever you get podcasts, of course, on YouTube as well. So please subscribe. As always, one of the fastest ways to help us grow is by leaving your comments below. So thank you so much for that. Tigers blank Dallas Baptist 12-0. That is 2 games. 2 shutouts. LSU has outscored Little Rock and Dallas Baptist by a combined 19-0. And now LSU 1 win away from advancing to the Super Regional round. There's a lot I want to talk about here. And if you're new to this format, again, thank you so much for being with us. I do understand a lot of you are everydayers. A lot of you have been with us for these post-game videos all throughout the year. I'm sincerely grateful. I also understand that it's postseason. A lot of you are finding us for the first time. So thank you sincerely for being here. I'll give you about 10 minutes or so my thoughts on the game. Quick break, come back, get to all your questions, comments. So feel free to fire away, get them in. We'll get to as many of them as we can. I want to talk about this game, but one big picture takeaway. All season long, we have these conversations, and I understand every team has warts and every team has shortcomings that could cost you in the postseason. We know what they are for this team. Early in the season, it was the bullpen. Well, they seem to have rectified that, right? I mean, they've shrunk their pen. We'll talk about what happened tonight, but again, you were throwing your up 10, down 10 guys by and large. We'll get to that in a second. We've talked about the offense in the deep freeze for the last month. A lot of you have talked about Jared Jones and the issues he's really had for the last month. Which are justifiable. Like, this team has warts, like every team has warts. But the reason this team should be considered a favorite to win the national championship is because of what you've seen the last 2 nights from Anthony Ianson and Kade Anderson, and not just the last 2 nights. It's what you've seen from those guys all season. I mean, they are 1 and 3 in the country in strikeouts. I could make an argument this is the best 1-2 punch you have ever had in the history of this program. We could talk about Poche Lang. We could talk about Gosman Eads Nola. We could talk about some of the others. We can go back to 91 and talk about guys like Chad OJ and Paul Bird. I mean, through the years, LSU has had awesome pitching. I mean, there's so many big leaguers. This program has just been an embarrassment of riches. They've won the second most national titles of any program in the history of college baseball. So yes, there's a ton, but I could make an argument that what we're seeing this year from Anderson Ianson is the best 1-2 we've ever seen at LSU. And because of that, you can win a national championship, even with all your other warts. I mean, Ole Miss won a national championship on the backs of 2 guys. They had a freshman in Hunter Elliott emerge, a veteran in Dylan DeLucia caught fire, and they rode those 2 guys to a national championship. Like, it's what you have to play in the winner's bracket in the postseason and give yourself a chance to win. Regional, Super Regional, Omaha. They're just tournaments at this point. And when you can play through the winner's bracket, you have a massive advantage. So tonight, Kade Anderson was just freaking awesome in this ball game. I mean, he's been awesome all year. It's why he's played himself into being a top 5 pick, maybe the number 1 pick in the draft. He's a lefty who throws 97. I mean, he's incredible. Kade Anderson, 7 innings pitched, no runs. He scattered 4 hits, struck out 11. He walked 2. He threw 106 pitches. He was awesome. And even in this ball game, when you look at really the one time that he kind of, I even say got in trouble. I mean, I'm kind of laughing saying it. He did walk a batter in the first, thought he had a strike. He went strikeout, walk, strikeout, strikeout. He thought he had the strikeout to the second hitter, ultimately struck out the next 2 guys. But in the top of the second, he walks the leadoff hitter and was a really competitive at bat. Remember, there were 3 2-strike foul balls. Very competitive at bat. He ultimately walks the hitter, then gives up a blue single. So it's first and second, nobody out. And he goes strikeout, and then Curiel with the diving catch in left and the double play at first base. And just like that, Anderson's out of the inning. It's another giant benefit of having this defense, a defense fielding 982 on the season, at 985 in conference play coming into regionals. You saw it again there. After that, got him in order in the third. He allowed a 1-out single in the fourth, then went strikeout, ground out. He was at 66 pitches through 4. Gets him up and down in order in the fifth, up and down in order in the sixth. Allowed a 2-out single in the seventh, and his 106th and final pitch of the game was 96 miles an hour for a strikeout. I mean, he gave you 7 innings of shutout baseball, scattered 4 hits, walked 2, was never really even threatened in this game. Kade Anderson was awesome. Talk about the offense, which was opportunistic and hurt DBU in every way possible. And it was really a game where I thought, listen, I'm assuming you watching this or listening to this, you're an LSU fan. You have probably watched a lot of LSU baseball over the years, like I have. I've been in that stadium so many times in postseason play, and I have watched that stadium swallow teams. And this was another instance. Dallas Baptist came into this game, into this regional, fielding 982. Major league level, you got to be above 980. Like, that's the benchmark. If no major league team feels below 980. 982 is awesome. They committed a season high 4 errors, and this game imploded on Dallas Baptist in the third inning. If you want to go through the third, this is what happened, and this is an illustration of how it can happen to teams who are not ready for this. So in the third, they get Brown grounds out to start the inning. And then Fry grounds the ball to short. Should be 2 up, 2 down, easy. The shortstop short hops the throw to first. He can't pick it. Now all of a sudden you got a runner on first. After that, Milam, this was after he'd gotten hit on the arm, his next AB, he ropes a single through the right side. So now you've got first and third, because Fry made it to third. So you get first and third with 1 out. They go with the safety squeeze. Hernandez goes with the safety squeeze, and the catcher makes an errant throw to first base, and the run scores. So the run scores, and you're willing to give up the out there to score the run, which, by the way, I know we have the bunt conversation all the time, and I get it. Like, I pick that fight all the time, but to be abundantly clear, I am always okay giving up an out to score a run. I'm never okay giving up an out to advance a runner. Giving up an out to score a run, yes, it's no different than a sacrifice fly or a ground ball to the right side with a runner at third to get him home. So I'm perfectly fine with Hernandez laying down the safety squeeze there to get the run home, and you get the added benefit of another error there by the pitcher. You go fly out, so now there's 2 outs. And then you get an RBI single, so it's 5-0. They go to Elwanger in this spot, which I want to come back to as well, because that was a massive decision by Dan Hefner that I think cost them any opportunity in this regional. And then the first hitter Elwanger faces is Stanfield, RBI single. He throws a wild pitch. And then ultimately, Curiel, gets a single as well. Stanfield scored there. Stanfield advanced. Hernandez scored there, so you're up 6-0 at this point. And then, you're up 6-0 at this point after the Curiel single. And then wild pitch. And then Jones struck out swinging to end the inning. All that to say, this should have been an easy inning for Dallas Baptist. But they committed 2 errors and had a wild pitch all in the same inning. And if you remember, there was also the point in the game where I'm trying to find it, where it was, where Hernandez, no, that was it, where Hernandez gets in the pickle, and where was this? Where was this? I know I wrote it down. I can't find it in my notes. Sorry. Where Hernandez gets in the pickle and is safe at second, and the run scores. It's just, the environment, the atmosphere, everything swallowed Dallas Baptist whole, and LSU was awesome. 6 of the first 9 runs LSU scored came with 2 outs. They were so opportunistic. And you can go back to the first inning. Look at how the game started. Curiel grounds out. Jones strikes out. Looks like it's going to be quick. Dickinson draws a walk. Brown gets hit by a pitch. Then Fry comes up with a double, and Brown is able to score from first. Again, I know we talk about Brown a lot here, but that's why Brown's in the game. He didn't have a great day. He was 0 for 5, but he was hit by a pitch, and he scored from first on the double. That's why Brown is in there. He gives you a better glove and right. He can score from first on an extra base hit, all that sort of stuff. So just like that, you're up 2-0. You get the homer from Stanfield in the second to go up 3-0, and then in the third is when they imploded. You blink, it's 6-0, and the Tigers would pilot on from there. They'd add a run in the 7th. They had an RBI single in the 8th. So there it was, the stolen base. That was it. In the bottom of the 6th to go up 9-0. That was when you had the double steal. They tried to get Hernandez at second. The run scores. Hernandez got in a pickle. He was safe. That was it in the bottom of the 6th. So you're up 9-0, and you'd add a few runs late. Fry had what would look like an inside the park home run in the 8th, but they ruled it a triple and an error. Come on. You got a sac fly from Ashton Larson in the 8th as well, and then you'd score on a wild pitch also in the bottom of the 8th. So, I mean, you scored just about every way possible. And you look at Dallas Baptist, and this is what a team that was not ready for this environment does. They committed a season-high 4 errors. Dallas Baptist walked 7 and hit 5. You commit 4 errors, you walk 7, you hit 5. That's not going to be a recipe for success against LSU. And the flip side of it is LSU, which is used to these moments, going through the meat grinder of the SEC, LSU had no problem taking advantage of every open door that Dallas Baptist provided. And you had Kade Anderson shoving it right up their donkey for 7 innings, scattering 4 hits, striking out 11, and never really even being threatened. So, I got some other notes that I want to get to, and I want to get to all of your questions and comments. How about Chris Stanfield? His massive night tonight was awesome to see. Stanfield with the homer kind of got you paced early. Stanfield finished, I want to get his final line. Forgive me. He was 3 for 4 with 3 RBI, including the homer, which was awesome to see. So hat tip to Chris Stanfield, who's been so good in this regional so far through 2 days, and a great chance to close it out. We're probably going to have some of you asking about the bullpen. Again, you went to your up 10, down 10 guys. Now, I understand you went to Myers when Primo struggled, right? Primo walks the first 2 guys he faces, gets a ground ball fielder's choice. Myers comes in, goes strikeout, walk, fly out to get out of it to really end the threat. And then we saw Schmidt pitch the 9th. And it looked like he was going to have a 3-up, 3-down inning, but the strikeout got away from Aaron Beatty, so runner went to first. Then he went wild pitch, hit by pitch, strikeout to end it. So the old 4-out top of the 9th for William Schmidt. Again, the guys you used today outside of Myers who went in there to stamp out the threat and only threw, see Myers, I'm going to get you Myers' pitch count there. Myers threw 13 pitches. So he could easily throw tomorrow if you need him on Sunday, if you need him Sunday, or God forbid this goes to Monday. But if you needed him, he could certainly come back and throw. So it was awesome. I mean, it was a complete game for LSU all the way around. You got great starting pitching. Your bullpen closed it out. You scored 12 runs on just 10 hits. You scored in just about every way possible. And now, because your 2 starting pitchers did what they did, you've preserved everybody. You've gone through 2 games. You've not had to use Cowan or Evans. You have Newt available, who I presume will start Game 3, the regional final on Sunday night. I presume they'll go Newt, Shores, Evans, however they need to Cowan, however they need to finish it. I think that's what they'll do. But you got a very rested bullpen there, and someone's going to have to go. Dallas Baptist and Little Rock are going to play on Sunday afternoon. The winner will have to come back and play you at 8:00. If they manage to win that, they'll have to turn around and play you on Monday. So LSU is just in an incredible position right now to advance. Okay, a few of my takeaways from the game. I'll knock out a very quick break, come back, and I would love to get your questions, comments, so please fire away. Tigers win. They blanked Dallas Baptist 12-0. In the driver's seat, looking like the Tigers are headed to Super Regional action with one more game to go. It's Locked on LSU, your team every day. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's game-winning shots or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and to win big. On Saturday night, the Indiana Pacers eliminated the New York Knicks to win the Eastern Conference, so the NBA Finals are set. It's the Thunder against the Pacers. I'm sure the NBA front office is just thrilled about having two small market teams in the NBA Finals. But you want to bet on it? You can. If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. So head to FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Okay, let's get to your questions and comments. LSU beats Dallas Baptist 12-0. The Tigers will play the winner of Dallas Baptist and Little Rock. Those two teams will play Sunday afternoon. The winner of that, the loser's eliminated. The winner will play LSU on Sunday night at 8 o'clock Central. Brad, watching from Cali. Love that. Thank you so much. Loving the energy. One, what's going on with Jones? He's second-guessing everything. Two, can't stand the look on the DBU coach's face. Dan Hefner's been there a long time, and I don't blame him at all for what he was for being disgusted with what he saw from his team tonight. That's a good program. They've been to the NCAA tournament 11 straight years, and tonight was probably the ugliest game they played all year. Bad time to play your worst game. What's up with Jared Jones? Ben McDonald's talked about it a ton. He is pressing and expanding the strike zone. It really is disappointing because, Jones, I'm looking at Jones's season statistics, and you're talking about a guy who, for the bulk of the season, has been so good. And, he started to scuffle with a bad weekend really around Auburn. And most everybody struggled against Auburn. Had an okay weekend against Bama. He came up with a big moment against Tennessee. The whole 1:17 a.m. walk-off, which was awesome. And had a good weekend. The first and third games of that series. Nobody hit against A&M, but he did the first game when he was 2 for 5. Then it was 1 for 4 and 0 for 4. Arkansas is where it really kind of started to get hairy for Jared Jones. But then he bounced back against South Carolina and had a nice weekend. He was 2 for 5, 3 for 3, and then 1 for 5. He was good against South Carolina, but then he went 0 for in the 2 games in the SEC tournament, and then he was 1 for 5 against Little Rock, and then in this game tonight, Jones went 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. So he's 1 for 10 in the regional so far, and I think it's at a point now where because he struggled, it's sort of like we're looking for confirmation bias at this point. Because he has struggled, and he has struggled when he does have an 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts, we're going to magnify and go, what the hell's wrong with Jared Jones? And I don't blame you, but you also know that the ability is there with Jared Jones to change the game at any moment, and you're not taking him out of the lineup. So there's no consideration of that whatsoever. You just need him to, excuse the pun, bear down and be better. On the flip side of it, while Jones is scuffled, how about Stephen Milam? He's reached safely now in 7 straight plate appearances. In this game against Dallas Baptist, Milam went 2 for 2 with 2 walks and a hit by pitch. So he reached base all 5 plate appearances in this ballgame tonight, and the last 2 plate appearances against Little Rock. So maybe you've got Milam coming out of it a little bit as well, which was really good to see. Okay, please smash the like button if you would. If you're watching with us live, subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for being there with us. Landon, complete team win tonight. Great time to be playing our near best ball. Bear has stage 5 yips right now that needs divine intervention. I don't know that he needs divine intervention. I don't know that it's yips. I think everybody in the history of baseball has had a rough stretch. Still on the season, Jones is at 330 on the season. I mean, it is still by far his best cumulative batting average of any season at LSU. He had 304 as a freshman, 301 a year ago. He's at 330 right now. So, I think with Jones, what you're probably seeing also is teams are willing to challenge him a little bit because he's proven that chase rate is still pretty high. Hey, Manny, great game. Anderson being Anderson. I figured we'd see this. You're not moving Jared Jones in the lineup. There should be no consideration. Like at this point, the only way you're changing your lineup is in the event that, like we've seen Jay platoon with Pearson and Brown. If you face a lefty, Pearson's probably going to get the start in right. You're probably not going to back Pearson clean up, so you'd move Fry up to clean up. Pearson might drop down a little bit. Maybe Milam moves up in the order. Like, there's no consideration whatsoever of moving Jared Jones to the 7 hole. I remember having this conversation with Bregman years ago. If you remember, there was a time in his sophomore year where Bregman was struggling, and Maneri moved him down to the 8 hole. And Bregman told the story, and I think Paul's told it as well. But he got hot at the end of the year and was awesome because he is awesome. And after the season, they're having their exit meetings, and Bregman told Maneri in no uncertain terms, I'm the best player on this team. Don't you ever put me in the 8 hole again. That's where Jared Jones is. I'm not saying he's Alex Bregman, but what I'm saying is you don't move Jared Jones down. Here's another one from Anthony. It says we need to move Stanfield to the top of the order. I fundamentally disagree with that. I could not disagree with that more, Anthony. What you're not considering when you suggest that is how many teams are willing to pitch to the 9 hole instead of pitching to Derek Curiel when the lineup flips over. You're willing to take your chances, throw into the 9 hole hitter when you're probably going to pitch around Curiel. So when you pitch to contact, look, Stanfield hit homer tonight. It was his first homer of the year. Most pitchers are going to be okay challenging Chris Stanfield because even if he hurts you, it's probably going to be a single, but he's got many ways that he can hurt you. He can get on base, he can walk, he can steal a base. There's a lot of different ways that Stanfield can hurt you, but what he's not going to do, by and large, is hit the 3-run homer. Excuse me. I had to wet the whistle, sorry. Let's see. Tim C, LSU playing great, Spotted Jones. It's hilarious to me that the only this is exactly my point. All of you are looking for confirmation bias. Yes, undeniably, Jared Jones is going through a rough stretch. Okay. I'm not saying he's doing awesome. And 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts is a rough day. That's undeniable. That's a rough day. Jared Jones on the season is still hitting 330, which is 4th on the team. Fry's at 348, Curiel's at 339, Dickinson's at 333, and Jones is at 330. I just think it's one of those things where you have such outsized expectations because we've seen Jones be so good and so dominant and hit 28 homers a year ago that when he has an 0 for 5 or he has a 1 for 13 weekend, it's magnified. Jones is going nowhere in the lineup, and he shouldn't go anywhere in the lineup. All right, I've said enough about Jones. That's the highlight of a good offense is Jones was 0 for 5, Dickinson was 0 for 3, Brown was 0 for 5. That's the middle of your lineup that didn't have a hit. Now, Dickinson walked twice, and both Jones and Brown were hit by pitch. So they got on base 4 times, but none of them got a hit. But it goes to show you the depth in the lineup, because even when those guys aren't producing runs, your offense can still produce. Thomas, what's up? Sonny, 19-0 in 2 regional games sounds good. Yes, it does. This is a good question. Brian said, does Dickinson always have the option to bunt for a hit? That's something I think only Jay could answer. You're talking about, so in the bottom of the second with 2 outs, Braswell led off with a strikeout. Stanfield homered, so you're up 3-0. They walked Curiel. Jones grounded into a fielder's choice. And so then Dickinson was up, and he bunted there. And it is very clear that he was trying to bunt for a hit. Like, obviously, you're not laying down a sacrifice with 2 outs. But he probably was at the plate, saw the third baseman back, thought, let me see if I can just get this in a no man's land, get a good jump out the box and take my base. And then it's up to Brown. You keep the merry-go-round going. I don't mind that at all. Like, not one iota. Again, for all the conversations we have about bunting here and all the stuff that we've talked about over the years, I am never okay bunting to advance a runner. I'll never be okay giving up an out to advance a runner. You want to give up an out, score a run? Awesome. You want to bunt for a hit? Even better. Keep the merry-go-round going. Like, this is, so they had 1 inning where they laid down a sacrifice. But to answer your question, I don't know if Dickinson has the green light. I think probably. I mean, I think that was a situation where third baseman's back and you think you can lay it down and beat it out? Have at it. But in the bottom of the 5th, and I do want to come back. We haven't got to yet. I do want to talk about what Dan Hefner did in throwing Ellwanger out of the bullpen tonight, because I think he lost any opportunity of Dallas Baptist winning this regional. I'll get to that in a second. But in the 5th, you lead off with a single, and then you go hit by pitch. So you're already putting pressure on him, and you've got your first 2 on. All right, you're up in this. You're up 6-0. All right, you're up 6-0. Milam singles. Hernandez is hit by a pitch. Braswell's up, and he sack bunts to advance the runners, which he does. And then Stanfield grounds out to the shortstop. Now, by the way, that's another boneheaded play by Dallas Baptist, and Ben McDonald rightly called it on the broadcast. Like, what, you have got to cut down a run at the plate. And it was a slow roller to short, and if they're playing in, that run doesn't score. But it did. And so it's an RBI ground out. Then they go walk, ground out. This is like, you had a single, a hit by pitch, and a walk in that inning. And you gave them 2 outs. Like, a pitcher that was struggling, you're putting pressure on this team, they're struggling defensively, and you gave them 2 outs. You played for 1 run. Like, strategically, I would always rather you play for the big inning. Unless if it's Skeens louder and nobody is scoring and you have a runner on base and it's like, let's see if we can manufacture something. But like, in that instance, they were struggling. You had the first 2 guys on, a single, hit by pitch. They're scuffling to begin with, and you give them an out. Again, it's perspective. But anyway, I want to get to the Ellwanger decision. So I think Dan Hefner cost Dallas Baptist any opportunity of whatever little opportunity they might have had of coming back to win this regional. I think he gagged it away and going to Ellwanger. So you saw Ellwanger, the big dude who's throwing 98, right? Who struck out the side in the 4th. But this year, Ellwanger and Bucknam have been kind of their 2 and 3 starters. Bucknam had been injured for a while. Ellwanger took that spot. But you heard him say it, like, Ellwanger hasn't come out of the bullpen. He's a starter. So, bottom of the 3rd, they pull Bucknam after the RBI single from Curiel, and it's 5-0. They go to Ellwanger. That was an all-in move by Dan Hefner, because now all 3 of Dallas Baptist's starters are burned. They're all done. And you got to win a game on Sunday, then come back and try to beat LSU Sunday night, and then beat LSU on Monday. So you got to win 3 games in 2 days now. And the one guy that was available to you start was Ellwanger. And now he's burned because you went to him down 5-0. There's generally a rule in baseball. It's like the 4-run, right? Because in a 4-run game, 1 swing can tie it, right? So when you eclipse that number, you strategically play differently. So the fact that LSU was up 5-0 and they went to Ellwanger, their only other starter, and by the way, LSU's throwing Kade Anderson, felt foolish. Now, he could also look and say, I got to stop the bleeding here. I can't allow them to score any more runs because this is still my best chance of winning this regional, is winning this game right now. So I got to keep it in reach. And it didn't work out for him. And now they've burned Ellwanger. Like, I tell you all the time, my feeling is with baseball is a game of failure. You fail 75% of the time, or 70% of the time, you're in the Hall of Fame. So if you have sound logic behind the decision you make, then I can be okay with the result. This didn't feel like sound logic because down 5-0, it feels like with Kade Anderson on the bump, it feels like in some respects, I get it's the third inning. You have to play to win the regional, not play to win that game. And you lose that game. Ellwanger's available tomorrow, can win that elimination game for you. And then you try to figure out what you're going to do against LSU, which, by the way, is going to be throwing Newt. Like, LSU's already burned Anderson Ianson. And then if you manage to win that one, maybe your offense gets going, then you're in a one-game winner-take-all where anything can happen, and LSU's into its bullpen. Like, if you get to Monday, who's LSU throwing? I don't know. So I think Dan Hefner made a terrible, terrible decision, terrible mistake in throwing Ellwanger when they were down 5-0. If it's 2-0, I get it. But if it's 2-0, you're probably not going to your bullpen right there anyway. All right. Brant, Vandy goes down. Let's see if UTSA can hold on. What a fun tournament this has been, man. How about Georgia losing on their home field as well? Ole Miss, Oregon has been eliminated. Man, regional ball is a lot of fun, man. It's hard. It's hard to win. Okay. Boy, all these comments, there's a ton of them. Let me see what I can get to here. Noah, who do you think gets the start tomorrow? Evans, Newt, Cowan. I think Jay is going to do what he did in Hoover and what we've seen him do here recently. I think what we're going to... Texas lost. Like, they had a brutal go. You lose Jared Spencer. You lose your ace. We all saw the value of an ace, right? Look at LSU the last 2 days. That's really tough. But I think, and thank you, Texas Strength. Thank you, Daryl. Daryl said he loves the show. I appreciate it, man. Thank you, everybody, for being here very much. I appreciate y'all. I think, again, I don't know. I think what Jay is going to do, and trying to guess what Jay is going to do is a fool's errand at this point because he is unconventional, and I don't know what he's thinking. But for the last month, and if you're an everyday or shout out, you've heard us talk about this. I was told about a month ago by people internally that would know that they really felt like Shores and Myers were the two guys they had to get going out of this bullpen. And I think what you've seen is Newt, Shores, Myers, boom, 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 as sort of like your number three. It's very clear that Evans right now is better for you at the back of a game closing it out than trying to start. And if Newt can go out there and shove 97, 98 and give you 4 or 5 innings, get you 12 or 15 outs, awesome. Then you hand the ball to Shores, who can give you another 12 outs. I mean, you can get home with those guys. You know what I mean? So I think they'll go Newt, Shores, and then see where you are in the game, how you want to close it out. If you got a big lead, do you just get Myers and Cowan out there to get them work because they didn't pitch in the SEC tournament last weekend? And so, you don't want them to go 2 weeks without throwing. I could see that. This one said Myers, Shores, Schmidt got to go. Myers and Shores have been awesome, by the way. And Schmidt is an up 10, down 10 guy right now. For those who don't know, that's what you refer to the guys. They'll be in the game when you're up 10, down 10, just like you saw Schmidt tonight. Like, he's not going to be in a leverage spot. But Myers has been awesome. I've shared this with y'all. In his last, before tonight, in his last 7 outings, I'll update it real quick. Hang on. Here it is. In his last 7 outings before tonight, Myers had gone 6 1/3, 1 run, 2 hits, 10 Ks, 3 walks. Yo. And then tonight, his line was, bear with me. Myers tonight was 2/3 of an inning with no hits, a strikeout, and a walk. No hits, no runs, K, and a walk. So now in his last 8 outings, he's given you 7 innings pitched with 1 run, 2 hits, 11 strikeouts, and 4 walks. That'll play. I mean, just think if that's a starting pitcher. And I told you 7 innings, 1 run, 2 hits, 11 strikeouts, 4 walks. Myers is fine. Like, he has found it. And that's now 8 outings. 6 of them, by the way, were against the SEC. The only one that wasn't was against McNeese. And now you have one in a regional game against Dallas Baptist. Shore's been great. Myers been great, and Shores has been great. I shared this with you as well. If you were here, I had a scout from an NL team tell me that Shores' outing in the SEC tournament was the best single outing that they have rated for any pitcher all season, meaning velo, location, command, pitchability, all that stuff. Shores' outing in the SEC tournament was the best outing of any pitcher all season for this one MLB team. I mean, Shore's good. All right. And this is something that I've said all season long that Triple D points out. Schmidt is Cade from last season. It is remarkable. Kade Anderson a year ago had an ERA of 27 against the SEC. 27. He's about to be a top 5 pick in the draft. Schmidt is very, very comparable there. The stuff is impeccable. It is undeniable. And it's just mound time and refinement. And he'll get there and he will be awesome. David, who's better to face again, Dallas Baptist or Little Rock? Quite honestly, David, I'm not sure that it matters. And I don't mean to be dismissive of either, but both are out of pitching. Little Rock today played a 22-10 game where they used Jack Klein, Hunter Royal, Blake Van Cleve, and Brody Bunting, who went 4 2/3, so he's burned. And whatever they elect, whatever either team elects to do in their elimination game tomorrow, they're still going to have to burn a key arm, whatever they feel like is their best arm remaining, because they're going to have to win that game to keep their season alive. So I hate to say it that way. It just doesn't matter, because as long as the LSU offense goes up, like, you can have a non-dominant offensive performance and slug your way a non-dominant pitching performance and slug your way to a win, because both of those teams right now are out of pitching. Like we just talked about, Dallas Baptist has used all 3 of their starters, and Little Rock had a staff ERA over 6 coming into this thing. They were one of the worst pitching staffs in the country. Certainly one of the worst pitching staffs in the tournament. So, Philip, I love LSU. I hate LSU fans. Bunch of imbeciles. Let's bench Jones. Same idiots who wanted to bench Jaden Daniels for us. They exist, man. You know what? I do this job with a lot of passion, and you all know that. And I do understand the fan sentiment a lot, because I deal with it every day. And I think there's a lot of LSU baseball fans that are great LSU fans that maybe aren't great baseball fans. Again, I say that lovingly, but I say that as a guy that watches every pitch of every game all season. And you cannot take a football mentality into baseball. Teams lose, guys have slumps. It's just baseball. The Yankees lost 18-2 today to the Dodgers. You're not going to go bench Aaron Judge. It's just, you're going to have some of those days, man. So, anyway, and no, someone said nobody wants him benched, move him out of the 2-hole. You're not doing that, because the way you organize a lineup, the way you set up a lineup is for probability. And Jared Jones has the probability of hurting a team if they leave a fastball, a breaking ball over too much of the plate. One swing can hurt you. If you take Jared Jones out of the 2-hole and move him down in the lineup, who are you going to put in that situation? It changes the entire dynamic of a lineup. So no, you're not going to move Jared Jones out of the 2-hole. The 2-hole is generally going to see more fastballs, which is why you want him there. You want Curiel to get on base. You want Jones to be there as a run producer, Dickinson to provide protection, and then behind him, Brown, Fry are guys that can hurt you as well. So no, you're not going to move Jared Jones. This is your lineup. It is your best lineup. You scored 12 runs in this game. You scored 7 a day ago. Stop it. This is baseball. Some days you go out there and it's not great. I mean, Alex Bregman was 0 for 23 to start his big league career. It's what it is, man. You keep going. You keep going. Anyway, yes, Noah pointed out, like, it's what people did to Jordan Thompson at the end of the 23 season, which was actually probably the most embarrassing. It was the most embarrassing display of behavior by LSU fans that I've seen in all my years covering LSU baseball, is the way people treated Jordan Thompson. But, we don't need to go there. The bottom line is LSU dominated Little Rock behind Anthony Ianson. Kade Anderson came and shoved in this game, gave you 7 innings. You have preserved your bullpen. Your offense has gotten going. You've gotten contributions 1 through 9. You have hit. You have been opportunistic. You have hit home runs. You have hit doubles. You have scored with small ball. You have shown a way to do it in every way possible, and you preserved your bullpen. You've done it exactly the way that you had to do it to get through these first 2 games. And now you have the extreme advantage. And, oh, by the way, we're going to keep an eye on the Clemson Regional and what happens over there, because obviously, who LSU is going to play, provide LSU wins this regional, which I think we all think they will. West Virginia beat Clemson. So now West Virginia's on to the regional final, and Clemson has to come out of the losers bracket and win 3 games in 2 days. So there's a chance you're going to see an upset there. And maybe West Virginia coming to the box next weekend instead of Clemson. So we'll keep an eye on it tomorrow. LSU's in the catbird seat. It's a lot of fun, and the Tigers are rolling along. I'm glad to have you aboard with us here. So let's go wrap this thing up, man. Tigers win. It was a great day. Awesome. Hat tip to everybody, all the crowd who was at the box. It was loud. It was awesome. It was full. It was life and energy. It's what you want in the postseason at the box. It's why you want to be there. And you saw the crowd, the environment, all of it affect Dallas Baptist. The most errors they've committed in a game. They walked 7, they hit 5. I mean, this was a great win all the way, or a dominant win for LSU all the way around. You got 1 more to go. So see if they can get it Sunday night and move on. And, we'll be here talking about it. So we'll look forward to seeing y'all then. Okay, do me a favor. If you're with us live, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on podcast, please subscribe on your favorite podcast app. But remember, we're live as soon as the games go final. So Sunday night, 11 o'clock, midnight, whatever it's going to be, when LSU and whoever it might be wrap up, we'll be live on the Locked on LSU YouTube channel. And we'll look forward to seeing you there. It is Locked on LSU, your team every day.